Hi, Yoga Journal. Hi, everyone. Welcome as people are joining us live. Hi, Mama.
Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Yoga
I'm
Journal.
I'm Lizzie Lasater, and joining us is Judith Hanson Lasater, restorative yoga pioneer slash queen. And what we're going to do today, that's why we've got two cameras going. The idea we thought we would talk for a couple minutes. Our topic is restorative yoga as radical self-care. And we're going to talk a little bit. Mom has some ideas about this corner of yoga that she's so passionate about and that we both teach. And then we've got this second camera going because I'm going to actually do a Shavasana demonstration with all of the props, and Mom's going to talk us through it. So, Mom, just right off the bat, what I wanted to ask you about is that you teach Shavasana with 20 minutes of silence. And that's really unusual in most yoga classes. So, first of all, why do we need silence these days? And sort of why do you think that we so often avoid silence?
Hmm. One of the things that's a physiological fact is that when you lie down on your mat to relax, if you continue to listen to my words or your teacher's words, then you're not actually having your own experience. You only have your own experience, and you physiologically go deeper when there is silence. So if it's true that when we teach, if we're talking, our students, if they're listening to us, are not having their own experience, which we don't like. What we want is for them to go deep and have their own experience. We should stop talking. And so many times when I would first start teaching, I would have these elaborate, yoga teacher, blah, blah, you're resting on the sweet earth and your arms are unfurling in the wind, like blah, 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 blah. And then I'd ask one, how did you like that, those metaphors? And they said, what? What metaphors? I didn't hear a thing. So I think it's lovely to start your class, your Shavasana with an image or two, take them through, maybe offer them a couple breaths. But as soon as possible, be quiet. Sit there, read the sutras, meditate, take up knitting, do something. They are not bored. You are bored. So you have to fill the space with images. This is the only time in their day, in their life, when they can just be themselves, eyes covered, comfortable, warm, not serving, not doing, not producing, and be enough. They're enough. We're enough for ourselves in Shavasana. To lie on the earth, the floor, and to be is a radical gift. We don't get that anywhere else. So don't fill it up. Let the emptiness be there. Silence is not empty. I like the symphony, as you know, and it happens almost every time I go. The conductor finishes, the conductor finishes, and there's that moment of radiant silence, full silence. And people always start clapping, in my mind, too soon. And they fill that silence up. And so, to me, the state of yoga is that full, sweet, empty silence. Give that gift to yourself and your students every day.
Yeah, so we've just finished, literally 38 minutes ago, we've just finished, Mom, our monthly mentorship call, your office hours call, where you speak to yoga teachers. And that's a little bit where you're speaking from now. But to those of us who are coming to this live webinar as a student, what do you say to a student about, why should I do 20 minutes of Shavasana? Why should I waste 20 minutes if I only have 90 minutes once a week for my yoga block? why would I give 20 minutes of it away to something that seems so non-productive?
So what would I say? Nothing. I would say taste the mango. Taste the mango. Lie down. You know, I'd help them get a very comfortable position. And the reason most people don't do Shavasana is because they've never done it. They think they've done it. 5 minutes is not enough. It takes a minimum of 15 for the body to relax and another 5 to be in that deep state of introversion where the healing really happens. So I don't think you can convince anyone about Shavasana. You can only let them taste it. The more important something is, the less likely you are able to understand it and the more you have to experience it. Someone can tell you what it feels like to have your first kiss. You can study the science of kissing. You can know everything about it. But it's until you have your first kiss, there's an emptiness there in that. It's experiencing it. Don't try to convince them. Just put them in the pose.
Okay, so we're going to do that in a moment. I'm going to show the way that you like your basic standard deluxe Shavasana. I want to ask, the title of this webinar is Restorative Yoga as Radical Self-Care. So could you speak, and it's Mother's Day week, will be receiving your tulips any moment now from me. First of all, why is restorative yoga radical? How does it fit into self-care for you? And could you speak briefly to mothers? I'm not a mother, but do mothers have a specific need that's different for restorative yoga or for self-care?
Well, mothers, if you look under the word mother in the dictionary, it says exhausted person. Because modern mothers have a lot on their plate. We have children, most of us work, and if you don't work outside the home, you work inside the home. So we have church and community and all these things pulling on us, and we always put ourselves last. But here's a fact. Transformation always starts in your own heart. If you want your life to be better, take care of yourself. Because everything is better when you're rested. Everything is better when you're not in stress mode. Your digestion, your elimination, your fertility, your mood, your periods, your energy, your productivity, your interactions with everyone, the way you drive, the way you cook, everything is better. And sleep is better if you're rested, because they're distinct states. We need a little rest every day. We need a siesta. This is normal human behavior. So it's radical because we somehow believe it's not important. But it is the singularly most powerful thing you can do for 20 minutes. I actually taught a restorative workshop at the Google headquarters, which was a fascinating trip into an amazing world. And there were 100 people came. And the name that I gave this seminar was the 20-minute miracle. How 20 minutes of relaxation will reduce your stress, improve your energy, and creativity. And that was the hook I used, because they're absolutely true. Yeah. So 20 minutes a day is an investment that will overwhelmingly be paid back to you and to those around you. Do you remember what you used to say to me when you were a teenager, you and your brothers, when I was stressing out? You'd say, Mom, you need to go up to the yoga room and shavasana yourself. Shavasana became a verb, to shavas. It was always true that when I felt more rested, I was a better human being. I was a better mother. I liked myself, and the people around me were more likely to be able to stand me. So it cannot be underestimated, the importance of doing nothing for 20 minutes. Physiologically, this is the time frame. in our world. In fact, I believe it's an imperative that we really don't have the choice if we're going to remain sane in our crazy world with the internet, as I call them. And distraction is a way of life. To just be silent and still. There is some new research, by the way, that I read in the last month about how silence itself is necessary for the brain to repair itself and to integrate itself.
Yeah.
20 minutes, no music, no talking, just being with yourself in silence, comfort, and ease.
For me, it's also about control. I can get really wound up feeling as though I have to control everything and take care of everything. And when I take this 20-minute practice, it reminds me of the truth that the world keeps spinning without me, that I can let go and everything is still okay sometimes.
So that means that you need to resign your job as general contractor of the universe for 20 minutes a day. Good idea. Good idea.
All right, shall we start the demo, or do you want to talk about, we were going to talk about Stiram Sukham Asanam.
Let's talk about that.
Well, let me just say, one of Mom's brilliant talents as a yoga teacher who's been teaching since 1971 is that you're so gifted, Mom, at combining this kind of potentially dry philosophy of yoga with sort of everyday, very practical, embodied understanding of your life as a mother and, you know, as a businesswoman in the world, as a teacher, as a, you know, president of the Parent Teachers Association, all of these kind of life experiences. And that's what you did so wonderfully in this course. That's one of the things we wanted to talk about today is this course that we did with Yoga Journal. If you're interested, it's about the Yoga Sutra, but what Mom does, and we're going to show an example of that now, is she's so great at weaving together and bringing the sutra into the body, so that those of us who come to yoga because we like the physical experience and we learn kinesthetically, it's really great to connect that then with this philosophical concept. So let me give people the link before we move on. It's www.lizzieLasater.com/sutra. This might be backwards, I'm seeing in the camera. And Yoga Journal is very generously offering 30% off right now to the first set of people that enroll, and you're going to use the code Mother's Day if you're watching this webinar. So Mom, talk to us about Sutra Pada 2, verse 46. Talk to us about why this is the totem sutra for restorative yoga.
So there is a well-known sutra, certainly not the only one, the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, and it has 4 chapters. And in the second chapter, or Pada, verse 46, he is defining, if you will, what asana is. And we tend to think of asanas as movements that are uncomfortable, that we work with, we struggle with, we push ourselves a bit, we challenge ourselves a bit. But if we look at the phrase itself, Stiram Sukham Asanam. Stiram comes from the verb sta, which means to stay, or abide is a better English translation. Sukham means ease. And asanam is a grammatical form of the word asana. So Stiram Sukham Asanam means abiding in ease is asana. And I think, so there's 2 things. It's about stillness and ease. And I'd like to ask us all this rhetorical question. When are we still? Certainly not when we sleep. People move under 50 times a night or something. There's a lot of restlessness in our world, restlessness in our mind, restlessness outside. Everyone's moving. Everyone's restless. You're restless while you sleep. Your mind is certainly restless. So stillness and ease. When are we fully at ease? And how rare that is to be at ease in our body, with our feelings, with our mind, in this location of right now. Am I at ease with what is? And Shavasana is a formalized way of choosing ease and silence.
Okay.
Most important yoga pose. Yes. Doing nothing
Okay.
being everything. Doing nothing being everything.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I turn off this web camera here. Stop sharing my webcam. Then we'll only, can you still hear me?
Yes,
Okay, great.
definitely.
So why don't you talk me through a setup that people could follow along with if they have the props, or next time you're in a studio where you have all of the props, you can potentially try this out because it's so delicious.
So what two things. What I would like to remind people is it's not the specific prop that matters. It's what the prop does for you. So you can substitute pillows or blankets or whatever you have. You can even lie down and just put your legs up on your couch. I mean, it's just getting yourself into that relaxed position in which your joints are in flexion, which means slightly bent. And the second thing is I'll put you into it, and then may I just say a few words of leading you into it, and then I'll pause, and then I'll bring you out. But what you all can do when you practice is just follow that and stay there after the time I bring her out, so you're there 20 minutes. All right. Are you ready?
I'm
All right.
ready.
So the first and the most important thing to support is your head and neck. So take that blanket and show them the blanket. And I want you, all right, fold it back. I think fold it back. And I want you to put, I can't tell exactly how thick it is, but I want you to put one of the corners under your, yes. Yeah, we're just going to use the blanket with the corner. Now, Lizzie, reach up and put your hands, and everyone, put your hands on the big vertebra at the base, the vertebrae at the base of the neck. That's C7T1. And then I want that blanket to support that, so it supports the bridge, quote unquote, of the neck from the base. So lie back and put that on that firm corner in a way that feels comfortable to you. And then tuck the sides of it around your head. Reach up and curl under the blanket and put it around your head. So your chin is slightly lower than your forehead. This causes the brain to begin to go into a state of relaxation. And even if you have no other props, how does that feel?
I already do not want to move.
All right. So roll to the side, away from us so they can see the blanket. Yeah. And sit up. And now put the bolster maybe under your knees.
Okay. So I've got a round bolster, but if you have a square bolster, you can also use that. The book, in Mom's book, the newest restorative book, Restore and Rebalance, there's lots of great photos and demos of this.
And put a blanket roll under your ankles so your heels float.
So it's like this, and then I'm going to roll it a long way.
Now, would you like to put a pillow under each wrist, or would you like a blanket? What would you like?
Yeah, these are what I use when I practice at home. In the book, Mom shows with a blanket to support the wrist, but I honestly think it's sort of quicker, and I tend to just gravitate towards putting.
Sure. Again, I don't care what it is. Now, but I do want to make a very important point before you lie back, about the arms. So put your arms at your side close in, like you were lying down. Like some people, they want to keep their arms only on their mat. So sit up, sit up, sit up. I just want you to do it sitting up. Put your arms next to your body, and now try to take a breath. All of you try that. It's difficult, is it not?
Yeah.
So open your arms out to the side until you feel your shoulder blades drop down. Right about there. Now take a breath. Because there are lungs wherever there are ribs. So all up into the armpit area, there's ribs on the side body. So you want to be open. So now, yes, lie down, put your eye bag on.
Okay.
The things to remember, the 4 points to remember about setting up Shavasana are still, quiet, dark, and warm. still, quiet, dark, and warm. So darkness is very important because, now she's tucking the blanket, because light is the primary stimulus to the brain. That's why you wake up when it's bright moon shining in your room. So you put that over the eyes, tuck the chin. Now I want you to support just the wrists so that the elbows are completely on the floor and it's wide. The last thing to do before she rests is to cover up so that you're warm, but we're not going to have her cover up right now because I want you to see what she's doing. So her lower back is flat on the, is down well toward the floor. Her ribs and her sacrum, the bony prominence, mid pelvis in the back. She's supporting the bend of the knees, not the thighs, because you want the top thighs to drop. You try to get the bolster exactly as close to the back of the knees as you can. And then the ankles are supported so the heels float. And then now I will give you some instruction. Swallow and release the tongue in the mouth. Let the teeth part if you wish. And begin to actually feel your body on the floor. Feel the weight of the legs, the weight of the bones of the pelvis and shoulders and ribs on the floor. And how the arms are like two rivers. And how the fingers so softly curl back toward the palm. Let the cheeks hang hollow beneath the cheekbones and the forehead feel broad. Invite the eyes to move backward, to be gently covered by the curtains of the eyes. Take a long, slow inhalation. No strain, no ambition, just exhale softly. Again, long, slow inhalation. Think of the ribs moving to the side body. And softly exhaling. One more time as you're ready. Remember, there's no lungs in the belly, so this is wherever there's ribs, you're breathing in. Breathe into the back body where there's 60% of your lungs. Breathe into the side chest. Welcome the breath, and without attachment, let it go. Now, if inside yourself, just drop below the breath, down into the cool, dark, vast spaciousness at the center of your being. And there rest on the golden couch of Vishnu, soft, silent, and still. Shavasana. So, as you're there, just watch the rise and fall of the breath and stay with the sensation of the breath. Whenever your thoughts carry you to the past or the future, return to the sensation of the breath, which is always in the present. Sadly and slowly now, Lizzie, inhale your breath.
No.
Exhale. Bring your lower back firmly down to the floor. Hold it down there. Bend one knee and put the foot on the bolster. Push with your foot a little bit. Hold your lower back still and bend the second leg. Inhale, exhaling, roll to the side of choice. So your belly button looks at the floor. And inhaling, use your arms to help you sit up. Forgive me for disturbing you. How was that?
Oh, it's so fantastic. It's like the body is leading me into the relaxation, and my mind doesn't have to do anything. It's like the body is going downhill into this delicious sensation of letting go, and it just draws the mind with it.
So I suggest that you, when you practice, all of you, you set your phone for 20 minutes and you stay there for 20 minutes. Maybe that's going to be a long time for you. But I think the reason that we don't want to do it is it's really, sometimes our students seem restless, is because they're not comfortable. So take the time to set it up so that you're really comfortable and there's no distraction. And you can drop into yourself, and that if you were a lake, you would become still and reflective. You look like water flowing over the stones when you lie there.
Yeah, you know, it's a really tough job, but somebody has got to do Shavasana. Oh, Mama, do you have before? I mean, it's coming to the end of our time together, so I just want to give people some links, some ways to stay in touch, and then I'm sure you've got something brilliant to send us off with. I love the quote. I've got a quote for us all. It's from Homer. This is a quote I sometimes use when I teach a workshop called the Shavasana Intensive. All good stories begin at the end.
That's why I always read magazines from the back. So Shavasana does not create silence. Shavasana helps us rediscover it. And that's really true of all the practices of yoga. It's not about becoming different. It's about revealing your true self. Because basically what we have here is a process of confusion of identity. We're identifying with all the agitations and all the tasks and all the lists and all the activity, and we're not spending enough time identifying. It's a case of mistaken identity. Our stress comes from mistaken identity. If we identify with this part of ourselves that you're feeling now, the life around us hasn't changed, but our perception of it has changed. And this is the great gift of yoga and of Shavasana in particular. Namaste.
Wait, we're not done. We have to give all the links.
Oh, the links.
Okay, so if you want to stay in touch with Mom and all the things that she's doing, you're going to go to judithhansenlasater.com. And she's also on Facebook, where she posts quite regularly. And we have just dragged her into the exciting world of Instagram. So Mom is on Instagram under Judith Lasater. She doesn't post that much, but we're working on it. And I am LizzieLasater.com, Facebook, Instagram, where I post way too much, Insta stories constantly. This yoga journal course, which is really, I think it's one of the best digital courses that we've ever made, Mom. And we get so much positive feedback about the simple idea of embodied philosophy. So in this yoga journal course, which you can find at LizzieLasater.com/sutra, what we do it's 6 weeks long, and each week as you move through it, Mom has pulled some sutra for us that we discuss and chant and learn and unpack, and then each week it's always paired with a physical practice so we can really feel it in our bodies. And there's a whole week about Shavasana. Okay.
We talk a lot about nothing.
Which is a big fat nothing.
Yep. Delicious. Don't
All right.
sit there, nothing.
Big thank you to Yoga Journal. Thank you to Rachel for facilitating all of the behind the scenes webinar magic. Mom, say your wonderful final words that you always end with.
May we live like the lotus, at home in the muddy water. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you all for joining us. Love you, Mama. Happy Mother's Day this weekend.
Love you back. Happy Mother's Day.